Here's how to fish that spring weather to your advantage. As the saying goes, April showers bring May flowers, and it's really important. Rain is a huge part of the spring for bass fishing. When you get that warm rain, kickstarts our bass out of the winter patterns into that spring feeding frenzy. Rain can do a few things throughout the year. One, when it rains, that rain hitting the top of the water is actually creating oxygen, right? It's pumping oxygen into that water, and the oxygen-rich water draws the bait fish towards it, which means the bass are going to be hitting top water. So if it's raining and the bass are fired up, it's time to throw top water, specifically louder top waters. So something like a buzzbait's a great option. I like crawlers with metal wings that make a bunch of noise in that. You want to have some noise because the rain is going to add a lot of noise to that water. That can be something like this Megabass iLoud, which is a top water wake bait, but it's supposed to make a bunch of noise with a built-in rattle. And I also love a big spook that has a knocker in there to get those, to draw those bass in. But also if the water's still a little colder and your bass aren't as active just yet, going to a spinnerbait, fishing that close to the surface to see if those bass are there is a great option, or just fishing it around. A spinnerbait is killer in the rain because that rain scatters the light, which gives your spinnerbait a much more natural look. But also after that rain, something to really key in is finding places in your body of water, your pond or your lake, where rainwater from outside of the body of water rushes in. Those areas where the rainwater comes into your body of water are usually located in the back of a little cut, and you should be going right there because the rainwater running into your body of water is pulling in bugs, insects, worms, a bunch of nutrients that the small bait fish can snack on, even the bass can snack on. However, where the bait fish go, the bass goes. So in those cases, I like throwing a spinnerbait or like a small Alabama rig, those mini shaking rigs I've been showing off. Just showing a bunch of bait fish presentations to these bass is a great way to catch them. And if there's a good amount of flow, like a little waterfall, or like it's pumping water into your body water, something I'll do is actually take like a Senko or a trick worm, cast it into that water and just let it flow out naturally, so it looks like a worm that just got washed out. And the other big weather that we get in spring is wind, and I'll show you where to fish on FishBrain. So here we are back in FishBrain, and as always, all these green dots are other people's catches. However, I'm going to turn them off for a second because especially I want to show you where weather can drive fish. And let's say all the wind is blowing into this bank back here, right? The wind is blowing from down to up here. What that does is the bait fish and all the little kind of bugs or nutrients are going to get blown towards those banks that the wind has been beating against, and that's a great place to fish. So like this little back cut here, if it's been getting a lot of wind, that's where you want to be fishing. And again, the spinnerbait is the best option. You can also throw a jerkbait in those areas. And yeah, I know that fishing in the rain or in the wind can be pretty annoying and can kind of suck. However, especially in the spring, that rain and that wind is your friend. So what are you waiting for? Get out there.